שחרית וערבית. אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, ואלו אין בהכנסת אורחים וביקור חולים, בהכנסת כלה ולביד המת, ועיון תפילה, ועיון תפילה, והבאת שלום בין אדם לחברו, בתלמוד תורה כנגד כולם, בתלמוד תורה כנגד כולם, בתלמוד תורה כנגד כולם. אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, ואלו אין, אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, ואלו אין. We read together, this is our study. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. For our teachers and their students, and the students of the students, we ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. And for those who study Torah here and everywhere, may they be blessed with all they need, and let us say amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say amen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Look at all your shiny faces. That's fantastic. You could all unmute as long as you don't have dogs barking in the background. That's a little bit challenging. We're going to ask our question, and we're going to start probably with Bob and with Bruce. I'm going to go according to my grid, okay? And Josh will be next to last, and then Canner Berman, and then me. And so we're all going to be, we're not going to talk while other people are talking, so that we can all hear well. So I have a rather serious question to ask as my goofy one this week. In the middle of all these 8 to 9 to 10 weeks, is there anything that is giving you hope? What gives you hope in the midst of all that we're going through? And yes, Bruce, you have to be David Hirsch. You have to be the first one. David's kind of going, whoosh. I'm not first this time. So I'll patter for you if you want, but if you're ready, go on, come on in.
Okay.
Unmute.
Well, I'm very hopeful by the large number of people who seem to be willing to stay at a distance and are not pushing to reopen things too soon. That's really encouraging to me, in spite of the rallies and the protests that you see in front of state houses. The polls say that most of us are willing to continue in the interest of all of our healths.
Okay. Bob, morning. Boker Tov, Bob.
But so I would say it's probably
We're always last.
Maybe we're the
which Bob we're talking to.
Hey, I'll have to mute you if you can't behave. Come on, it's Bob Kraut's turn.
Okay. So I would say it's the flowers that just are ignoring all of this. They're just coming up on schedule.
Good. Aya?
For me, it's the opportunity to read to my grandchildren 3 times a week and see that they are doing okay and taking interest. It's just a wonderful thing.
Great. Carol Rosenthal, Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom. What's something that's
Shabbat
giving you hope
Shalom.
nowadays?
What gives me hope nowadays is it's an election year.
Okay. I think that is a nice, vague way of saying Kate Passarelli, what's something that's giving you hope nowadays?
What gives me hope is the fact that I have my kids that are just plugging along and don't seem to be affected at all by this. And, you know, they are just giving me hope every day.
Wonderful. Arlen, we've had such trouble with your audio. Can you speak? Can you tell us something that's giving you hope? Hopefully it'll come across. Oh, not working. Joe, unmute. Joe, unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
This is not a commercial. Yeah, there are bits and pieces here and there that give me hope, but I can't pick one thing in particular.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
eventually we'll get out of this.
Lynn Rubinson, unmute.
I think I am unmuted. Okay. So,
Most of the time.
yeah. Rabbi, you get to mute and unmute me.
Bad Rabbi, bad.
I know people love Zooming with me because they can mute me. It is really still seeing the care and concern that people have for others. I mean, I see people making masks for each other or pushing to make sure that if we're going to do takeout, you know, support your local businesses, care about people, and people offering to, you know, go shopping for others. Just seeing in this midst of such divisiveness and political tearing, seeing people still caring about each other warms my heart.
Hey, Marcy, how are you doing? Shabbat Shalom, unmute.
Hi. For me, it's watching the birds come to the suet feeders to take it back to feed their fledglings.
Boy, thank you. I'll look for that. My goodness. Tom?
I just remember the other greatest tragedies of history that we've gone through. The last great plague in 1918 was just as bad as this, and we survived it, and I just take hope from that.
Just so you know, the CNN is reporting on a woman who survived the flu pandemic, having gotten the flu in 18, and just survived COVID. So she's 104 years old.
Wow.
It was amazing. Joan, good to see you on your phone.
Hi, everybody. Mine's going to be very selfish. I am hopeful because my cancer is gone. Thank you. And I thank everybody for your love and concern and food and care and all of that.
Terrific. I can't stop from smiling.
Thank you.
Rabbi Sarah Perman over in Greensburg.
I sort of echo what Lynn said about seeing all the people who are doing and caring despite everything. But I also have to add, not only the birth of Karen's baby, but as I was walking in the neighborhood, I saw a neighbor who I didn't know was pregnant and had a baby on April 8th. So it's the rebirth of children and the continuation of every generation.
How's everything down in Florida, Karen? Your turn.
I have to go with what Carol said. It's an election year, and
That makes me hopeful for the coming year.
Ronnie, good morning.
Ah, okay. I'm going to combine things. How people are reaching out to family and friends and sending messages for the election.
Bob Gelman.
I will sort of say the same thing Bruce said, and that is the number of clear heads in spite of all those who are rushing to go out.
Mm-hmm. Kathy Droz.
Shabbat Shalom. I think there's a lot. I have a lot to be hopeful for. I have a son who moved to Pittsburgh in the midst of this because of this, and the new grandchild. But I think there's a new sense of neighborliness that I've gotten to know my little street that I've known well, but we have a new sense, and I think just neighbors helping neighbors, close and far.
Fred would be happy, wouldn't he, about
Yes,
that?
yes.
Lori Mulvey, you're up.
Yeah, I was just thinking this Minyan and how many people come every week and how we've hung together and how much I look forward to it. So I think that's pretty hopeful.
David Hirsch, a reason for hope these days.
Well, at about 12:05 this morning, Ann got a grandson. So I think that's
wow.
What? She's up in New Jersey with us. Taking care of her granddaughter.
Wonderful. Hi, Ruth Reedborn. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I would like to say that it is a member of this Minyan who brought me a challah yesterday from a terrific place. And I'm grateful for that. And it's symbolic of people helping people.
Wonderful. Hey, Paula Rowland, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Minyan.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
What's a reason for you to have hope nowadays in this difficult circumstance?
Well, for me, it's a lot of what everybody else said, but technology brings me hope because of technology, hopefully there will be a vaccine, a cure, and it brings everybody that I love together. And I'm able to see family, friends, and keep connections.
Esther Nathanson. How you doing, Esther?
I'm doing okay. And I think, again, I'm going to echo Paula in the technology that's enabled us to be together on many circumstances. I'm going to a wedding in Denver tomorrow. And also the fact that we are going to be on the way to getting a vaccine and the testing appropriately.
Morning, Flo. Morning, Toby. Flo, you're up.
Well, mine is a little darker, but I think back to people who have survived the Holocaust and the Great Depression and the flu epidemic in the 1918, and many of them have really succeeded. So I think we'll come out of this also.
In a sense, I'm the wrong person in that I have no hope that we're going to have a vaccine soon. This is going to be a long time. However,
okay, we did that. What does give you hope?
Okay, so that's what I was getting to.
Okay,
and that is the wonderful, wonderful treatment and service that we're getting from our daughter and son-in-law here and the grandkids who are really taking care of us magnificently. I'm just blown away. And the time we're able to spend with our grandson in Savannah, who just loves playing games. And every day we get together with him and play games. He also wants to learn how to play bridge now from Flo. So he's 11.
Laura Fell, unmute yourself. Let us know what's giving you hope nowadays.
I have two things. One is having my grandson under my roof to where I can have that human touch and hugging, and my community at large, that basically between being able to help other people, having people be my rock when I need a rock.
Hi, Lynn Naiman, unmute.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Through technology, am happy to see the resilience of my grandchildren through all of this. They were not used to having to stay at home every day, and they've been learning so much. Like the reading skills have just zoomed, which is
great.
just phenomenal. And they've both learned to ride bicycles without training wheels. They're lucky enough to live on a dead-end street. So it gives me hope that they're going to, easily get through this.
Frank, you can unmute. Unmute. You have to unmute. There you go.
Okay. The birth of our granddaughter 10 weeks ago, Skyping with my grandson 2 or 3 times a week, and my recent birthday, and also that I got an email from Breckenridge, Colorado, asking me whether I wanted to get my ski pass for this coming year.
Oh my gosh, that is hopeful. That is hopeful, right? Hey, Arlene Yakinen, how you doing? Unmute and tell us something, a cause for hope in this challenging time.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So to me, it's been the creativity and the beauty and the humor of artists. Just remarkable to me, and hopeful that means people are going to survive.
Tamar, Shabbat Shalom, great to see you. Why don't you unmute yourself? Tell us some reason you have for hope in this challenging time. Can you unmute?
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Lovely to see you all.
We miss you.
That's very wonderful. I'm just going to go along with everybody else's. I was going to say Marcy's and say the birds that are outside the window, but it's all of the above.
Okay. Rebecca, why don't you unmute and tell us something that's giving you hope nowadays?
I'll say that science is giving me hope. I think even if it takes longer to get a vaccine, I feel like the incredible intellectual effort of the scientists around the world to help us to find ways to deal with this will definitely make it better.
Roy?
I'm going to go with our children, our 4 children. Their creativity definitely bolsters me every day.
Are they in the house?
They have a peripatetic life, and so they come and go. Right now, we are empty, but soon we will have 2 here.
I haven't heard the word peripatetic since I was a teacher. Mimi, Shabbat Shalom, something that's giving you hope nowadays.
One very local and one very global. The very global is I am so happy to see so many people being kind and generous to people they have never known in their lives. And I'm thinking specifically of the people on the front lines and how generous and caring they are to people they don't know at all. And very specifically, I get hope from the video of my 13-month-old granddaughter walking very tenaciously down the hall like some short little drunk. And it is so wonderful.
Terrific. Arlen, let's try your audio, which wasn't working before. Can you say something that's giving you hope, Arlen? We'll see if we can hear you.
I think a few people make more of an effort to social distance. And yeah, I have at the previous one.
I'm so sorry, Arlen. I heard part of that, but your voice is breaking up over the internet, and I have no idea what the problem is. It was not in rabbinical school to deal with this. Eileen Krause, something that's giving you hope nowadays, even though we're not seeing your beautiful face.
I don't know how to, can you hear me?
Absolutely. Perfectly.
Oh, okay. I'm on my phone because I couldn't, somehow my computer's not working. just the two things I think are spring, just all the flowers and the technology that we're so much luckier than the people in 1918 that we can still connect.
How about Josh Donner? Josh, what's giving you hope nowadays?
The tremendous leadership of so many Jewish organizations that are doing their best to try and keep camp going and keep the Jewish organizations going during this very difficult time.
It's very difficult. Canna Berman, what's something giving you hope nowadays?
Human capacity for creativity. And that's not just artistic creativity, it's also scientific creativity and just other ways of finding solutions and ways of connecting and means of reaching one another.
You know, I have a really simple reason for hope. Barbara and I walk every day that it's above 35 degrees and not raining or snowing. And when we walk in our neighborhood up into Squirrel Hill or down into Regent Square or wherever we walk, you know, when I see people coming 100 feet away, I veer into the street to avoid them, and they acknowledge that by smiling or nodding. And half the time before I do that, they do the same thing. We all acknowledge through that silent nod that we are in this together, that we are not alone. And to see people acting out that kindness is just really, really a spark of hope. I do have one quote. I actually said it last night, if you missed services last night. It's from the biologist E.O. Wilson, and it's just kind of this warning. Toby was a little less sanguine about our prospects, but it was E.O. Wilson said, the real problem of humanity is the following. We have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. And it is terrifically dangerous, and it is now approaching a point of crisis overall. He wrote that years ago. I just can't think of a more prophetic statement than that, than what we're dealing with right now. But hopefully all the kindness and goodness that we're experiencing that you shared is a way through and a way beyond, and a day we hopefully we'll all be able to be together again. So I'm going to turn it back over to Canna Berman for Pesukei de Zimra. Baruch She'amar.
Baruch She'amar. Baruch She'amar v'haya olam. Baruch Hu. Baruch Ze Bereshit. Baruch Omer v'Oseh. Baruch Ozer u'Mekayim. Baruch Merachim ha'aretz. Baruch Merachem ha'beriot, Baruch Meshalem Sachar Tov l'Reya, Baruch Chalai, V'kayam la'netzach, Baruch Bodeh u'Matzil, Baruch Shemo, Ya la la la, Ya la 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 la, Ya la 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 la, Ya la 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 la, Ya la la. So,
sorry to interrupt the almost godlike technology, but Jamie, because I left, I need you to either make me a co-host or as host allow screen sharing.
You're muted, Jamie.
So let me find you, Josh. Josh is viewing, and oh, I don't want to chat with you. I want you to participate. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. So I'm going up on participant list. Josh viewing, more, make co-host. You're the co-host now. Okay. So we'll get the text back up. No problem at all, Josh.
Not the viewing one, the one that just says Josh with the JD initials.
Oh.
Oh, there you go. You got it.
Okay.
No, sorry, the other one.
The other Josh Donner.
The other Josh. There's two Joshes, which happens often to me. Sorry, guys.
Okay, I have Josh viewing, and there's Josh Moore, make co-host. There you go.
Thanks.
Yes? Success?
Success.
Listen, if I do anything right technologically, I'm happy. So we just did Baruch She'amar, and we're on the next page now. Or actually,
So while we, okay, here we go. Hareini mezamenet et pila hodot ulhalel ulshabeach et bori. With this do I prepare myself to thank, praise, and glorify my Creator. Blessed are you, Sovereign of life, whom we praise with songs of glory. Baruch atah Adonai, melech moholal batish bachot. So, we will continue now with Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Beautiful psalm for Shabbat, and for all of those who were appreciating the trees and nature. Of course, this will move right into Tzadik HaTamar, which gives us images of nature. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, הלאסור והלנבל, הלהיגיון בכינור, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, הלאסור והלנבל, הלהיגיון בכינור, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת. טוב להודות לאדוני, וזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, הלאסור והלנבל, הלהיגיון בכינור, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, הלאסור והלנבל, הלהיגיון. צדיק התמר יפרח, פרס בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. Odinufun the Seva, Veshenim Rananim, Iu Lahagi, Yashar Adonai, Turi Velo Avlatamo. Continue with Ashrei. Ashrei Yoshvei Vetecha, Od Yahalelu Chasela, Ashrei Ha'am Shekacha Lo, Ashrei Ha'am She'Adonai Eloha, Tehillah LeDavid, Aromi Mecha, Elohai HaMelech, V'avarcha Shimcha Le'olam Va'ed, B'chol Yom Avarchecha, Ve'ala Shimcha Le'olam Va'ed, Gadol Adonai U'mulal Me'od, V'lig Gdulato Ein Cheker, Dor Ledor Yishabach Ma'asecha, U'gevorotecha Yagidu, Hadar Kevod Hodecha, V'divrei Niflotecha Asicha, Bezuz Norotecha Yomeru, Ugedulatcha Asaprena, Zecher Rav Tuvecha Yabiu, B'tzidkatecha Yeranenu, Chanun Verachum Adonai, Erech Apayim Ugdol Chesed, Tov Adonai Lakol, V'rachamav al Kol Masav, Yoducha Adonai Kol Maaseh עבדיך וחסידיך יברכוך, כבוד מלכותך יאמרו, וגבורתך ידברו, להודיע לבני האדם גבורותיו, כבוד הדר מלכותו. מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים. עיני כל אליך יסברו, ואתה נותן להם מנוחם בעתו. פותח את ידיך, ומשביע לכל חי רצון. צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו. קרוב אדוני לכל קורב, לכל אשר יקראו באמת. רצון יראיו יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם. שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל הרשעים ישמיד. תהילת אדוני ידבר פי, יברך בשר שם קדשו לעולם ועד. ואנחנו נברך מעתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah.
There on the last verse, there we go, Vanachnu. One of the things I miss is the 4 or 5 parts of layered harmony that you all do. But I'm telling you what, I can hear it in my heart. You can still be muted, and I can hear all of your voices, all of you individual souls combining to make a choir that's heavenly. Vanachnu nivarech ya me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hallelujah, 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 again and hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Vanachnu, vanachnu nivarech ya me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hallelujah. I'm going to start softly. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. And even louder now. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Even more now. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Let it all out now. Here we go. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. My heart tells me you sounded wonderful.
Hallelujah, El Bekadsho, Hallelujah, Bekiahuzo, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Bikurotav, Hallelujah, Rokulo, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 beteka shofar. Hallelujah, benevo bechinor. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, betofu machol. Hallelujah, beminim vehukav. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, b'tzitzlei shama. Hallelujah, b'tzitzlei truah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshama hallelujah, kol anshama hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Everyone, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Ilufinu maleh shira kayam. Even if our mouths were full of song as the sea, and our tongues full of joy in countless waves, and our lips full of praise as wide as the heavens' expanse, and were our eyes to shine like sun and moon, and if our hands were spread out like heaven's eagles, and our feet swift like young deer, we could never thank you adequately, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, to bless your name for a 10,000th of the many myriads of times you granted favors to our ancestors and to us. Baruch Atah Adonai El Melech Gadol Batishmachot El Haodahot Adon Aniflaot Habocher B'shirei Zimra Habocher B'shirei Zimra Zimra Melech Elchei HaOlamim Melech Elchei HaOlamim Melech Elchei HaOlamim. If it's your custom to rise as it is a minyan, we would rise for Chatzi Kaddish, which we continue and leading into the Baruch Hu.
Yikada v'yikada shemerava,
Amen.
Yalama divrachute v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon v'yamechon chayir chol Beit Yisrael, Bagala u'vizman kari v'yimeru, Amen. Yehi shemera b'mevora, La'olam le'al me'al maya yipara. Yiparal Krishabach Yipar Vitramam Vita Sevita Darita Levitalal Shemir Kudasha Rikuliela Minkobachata Vishirata Tushbechata Venechemata Damir and Yalma Vimeru. Amen. And customarily we face towards the east for Baruch Hu, if you know which way that is. Yalla lai 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 yalla lai 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 yalla lai 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 yalla lai 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 yalla lai 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 yalla lai 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 Baruch hu et Adonai Amevora Baruch Adonai Borach Le'olam Va'ed. And we can read together in the Hebrew. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, yotzer or vorei choshech, oseh shalom uvoreat hakol, hame'ir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim, u'v'tzuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid, ma'aseh v'reshit. Ma'rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, mal'ach ha'aretz kinyanecha, Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shevech ma'aseh yadecha ve'al meorei or she'asita yefaruch hasela or chadash al Tzion ta'ir v'nizkechu lanu mehera la'oro Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'me'orot. And I turn back over to Rabbi Gibson.
How deeply you have loved us, Adonai, our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our forebears whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. Gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth. If you have a talit, gather the four corners of your talit right now and lead us upright to our land. For you, O God, work wonders. You chose us. Truly, you drew us near to your great name, that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Praise be you, Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love. Baruch atah Adonai, abocher b'yamo Yisrael b'yahava.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. May I have a seat? Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lachtecha v'aderech ופשוחתך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת להם, ועשו להם ציצית, על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית בכנף פתיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת. Rabbi Gibson.
Yes, I know. It takes me a second to unmute. Yehuda Amichai wrote, and what is my lifespan? I'm like a man gone out of Egypt. The Red Sea parts. I cross on dry land, 2 walls of water on my right and on my left. Pharaoh's army and his horsemen behind me. Before me the desert, perhaps the promised land too. That is my lifespan. So we're going to sing the Michamocha we've been learning over the last 2 months when we thought Dan Nichols was going to come. And I guarantee you in the middle part, Shira Chadasha, I'm probably going to make a mistake. So I believe in a forgiving God and a forgiving Minyan. So thank you for that. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot, Osef ele, Nora tehilot, Osef ele Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Shira chadasha shibchu geulim, Lishimcha asfat hayam, Yachad kulam hodu ve'imlichu ve'amru Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. No mistake, oh my gosh. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef ele, Nora tehilot osef ele Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Tzur Yisrael, kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, tov nechinu mecha, Yehuda v'Yisrael. Go aleinu Adonai tzivot shemo, kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Melech Yisrael.
Adonai, Sefatai tiftach, Ufi agi, Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai tiftach, Ufi agi, Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך חוזר מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד אתה, לכלכל חיים בחסד. בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, תומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני וחיי הכל. Oops, sorry, that's a little too low. מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וכרזל זה ויאמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Oops, that's better. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. To all generations we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. You have a seat. Rabbi Gibson, would you like to pick up at Yismachu?
Come on, everybody. Give it a good beat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei, 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 Shabbat Memorial, Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei, 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 Shabbat Memorial, Shabbat. Aham mekadeshei, mekadeshei shevihi Shabbat. Ulam yismechu v'tangu miktuvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei, 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 Shabbat Memorial, Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei, 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 Shabbat Memorial, Shabbat. V'ashti ratzita bo, ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. And Animo tukarata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei, shomrei, Shabbat Memorial, Shabbat. Shabbat yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei, 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 Shabbat Memorial, Shabbat. Zecher למעשה וראשית Shabbat. Zecher למעשה וראשית Shabbat. ישמחו ומלכותך shomrei, 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 Shabbat Memorial, Shabbat. ישמחו ומלכותך shomrei, 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 Shabbat Memorial, Shabbat. אבותינו ולאבותינו ואימותינו רצה ומנוחתנו קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך סבנו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך וטהר ליבנו לאור עובדך באמת והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבה קודשך וינוחו בישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Together on this holy Shabbat, may we draw near to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near in life, in peace, and in joy. Baruch atah Adonai she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. And the next prayer, the sixth of the seven blessings of the Amidah, is Hoda'ah, thanksgiving. You may know the word Todah, which means thank you. Gratitude. Please take a moment and read this silently before we sing Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Shalom Tova Uvracha. Ein v'chesed v'rachamim. Ein v'chesed v'rachamim. V'rachamim Shalom. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Alecha Sim Shalom. Shalom Tova Ubracha. Baruch atah Adonai hambarechet amo Yisrael b'shalom. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses Israel with the possibility of peace. You know, there are two galleries here, and I'm going to quickly see who's on the other side of the gallery. Hi, Tamar, you're still there? Good to see you. And I see Kathy's portrait, and I see Joan's thumb or her phone or something like that. Anyway, it's great to see you all. Hi, Paula. Last night, I talked about Jeremiah being so hopeful that when the Babylonians were about to destroy the city of Jerusalem, he had his cousin Hanamel go out and buy land, even though he knew himself that he would not be able to enjoy it. The hope was that someday we would go back. The prophecy was that we would, and of course we did. When the Babylonians defeated us 70 years later, the Persians defeated them, and that king, King Cyrus, Xerxes, told us to go back to our homes. Jeremiah, with the foresight of 70 years, understood that he needed to have title deed to his land to go back. And we think that, you know, the hopes that are planted nowadays may never, ever happen. 50 years ago in 1970, I was at a conclave in the holy city of Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Yes, it is a holy city. There's actually a t-shirt that says on one side that Oconomowoc is the Jerusalem of the Midwest, and the other side it says Jerusalem is the Oconomowoc of the Middle East. But that's a whole other story about the spirituality that goes on at Olin Sang Ruby Union Institute. And we used to go down there from Minneapolis and St. Paul and all the youth groups from Fargo, North Dakota, and Duluth, and Rochester, and Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Madison, and Milwaukee. And in Dubuque, Iowa, there wasn't a TYG, a Temple Youth Group, there was a TYP, a Temple Youth Person, and she held every office on their executive committee. That was great. She was fantastic. Betsy Plotkin-Teutsch. Her husband became president of the Reconstructionist Rabbinical Seminary in Philadelphia, but she's incredible. And this was a conclave. Actually, we didn't like the word conclave because that was Latin and had to do with choosing pope. So we Yiddishized it and called it a conclavula. But it was on Soviet Jewry. In 1970, we were already talking about Soviet Jewry. And we saw no hope. But this man named Elie Wiesel had reminded us of what he called the prisoners of conscience. And we were going to study about the plight of Soviet Jews, which we did. Our youth group leader in Minneapolis was an incredible man named Paul Kent. He was a social worker. He had a heart as wide as the whole outdoors. And he and his wife, after, even though they had young children, they adopted a troubled teen. Troubled insofar as that he really didn't have any impulse control. He would do what drove him at the moment, which 99% of the time was terrible. And 1% of the time was born of such goodness that people felt blessed to know him. We had this very emotional service and presentation about the plight of Soviet Jews. And this young man, who was adopted by Paul Kent, my youth advisor, got angrier and angrier and angrier. And after Havdalah, he went to the pay phone in the Chader Ochel, the eating hall, and he put in a dime. Don't forget, you used to be able to put in a dime in a telephone and make a call, and he started calling international operators. It was his determination that he was going to call Leonid Brezhnev collect, and that he was going to tell Leonid Brezhnev what he thought about the treatment of Soviet Jews. Well, believe it or not, the call was almost successful. He got the international operator who connected him to Moscow, who connected him to the Kremlin, and an operator actually spoke English. And this young man said, "I demand to speak to Chairman Brezhnev about the plight of Soviet Jews." And the operator said, "I'm sorry, sir, I cannot connect you to the chairman. He is not busy right now. Besides, it's 4 a.m. What did you think you were going to do?" Pardon the terrible Russian accent. But he kept arguing. He said, it's really important. Wake him up. And of course, they did not do that. He said, well, I'll tell you what. He told this operator, you give him a message that we in America have not forgotten about our family of Soviet Jews. Please tell him that we will never forget them. And he made the operator repeat it to him in English. He said, you're going to be sure you get it to him, don't you? Won't you do that? She said, yes, I will certainly get this to the chairman, knowing that, of course, she would do no such thing. Well, that hope planted 50 years before. It took 18 years till 1988 before it actually came true. If you go online and look up Natan Sharansky and the word quarantine, you can find he has 5 tips. And he says he knows what it's like to be alone. He spent 405 days in solitary confinement out of his 9 years in prison. And it's worth seeing. For 3 minutes, he gives 5 suggestions about how to deal with this. And his message to us is the same as he had in prison, that this will pass. That hope must not be allowed to die. The hope that we have in our hearts, the hope that we act upon as we're kind to each other. This troubled young man that lived with my youth group leader, Paul Kent, eventually left. He committed some destructive acts. But what's interesting is nobody remembers his destructive acts. Anybody in our youth group, of the 120 that were there in the holy city of Kanawak, remembers that he called Brezhnev collect and almost got through. He refused to give up hope. And that hope is what saw us through that difficult time, so that 18 years in a row we could lobby. And right now, for 18 months, we have to wait to get a vaccine, not being necessarily all at home, but knowing that the love in our hearts that we so desperately want to share with each other will be met with the love from each other. You in this group will hug again. That I promise. Keep that hope, whether it's the hope you get by seeing birds or flowers or just the dancing light in each other's eyes on a screen. Keep that hope alive, for it will be fulfilled. It will be. Oh, Shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. We continue with reading of Torah, and this set of Kriyat Torah, the Shabbat. Josh is going to go to the next slide. And we just do the blessing for the study of Torah because we're not reading from a Sefer Torah. But I'll tell you what, because I believe that we should put some ritual behind this, and Canterbury and I are still working this out, even though we're just studying Torah. I'd like to sing Ki Mitzion, Baruch Shanatan, and Shema, and Echad, just because we can. So, Ki Mitzion Tetzeh Torah, Ki Mitzion Tetzeh Torah, Le'amo Yisrael. Excuse me. Vikdushato, Baruch Shanatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shanatan Torah Torah. Amo Yisrael Bikdushato. I should remember that I don't have the words in front of me. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo. And now I want to turn it over to Aya, who's going to be in charge of our Torah for today. Thank you very much for putting up with my last minute addition.
Okay, thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
So we're reading the last parsha in Vayikra, that is Leviticus, and it's a double parsha. As you can see, the Har B'chukotai. And I will not be reading all of it. It's the fourth Aliyah, and it's actually the last portion in Leviticus. I will be beginning at Leviticus 25, verse 55. And at the end of my reading, we'll all say Chazak, Chazak, v'nitchazek, because it's the end of that book of the Torah. So we're on Mount Sinai, and God is giving Moses the various laws that will go into effect once the Israelites arrive in the land of Canaan. The first parasha, Behar, is mostly concerned with how to treat land holdings and indentured servants in the sabbatical year, that is the 7th year, and in the Jubilee year, the 50th. At the Jubilee, land is released to its original owners within the tribal system, and indentured Israelites who must be treated well, not like slaves, are released to their own clans. This does not cover non-Israelites who actually are slaves. So even though the text says proclaim release over all the land, it's not as broad as what the Liberty Bell says, proclaim liberty throughout the land. It's only through the land of Israel, and it's only for Israelites. The second parsha, B'chukotai, covers rewards for observing God's commandments and punishments for ignoring them, monetary vows to the Mishkan or later on the temple, offerings of firstborn animals, and tithing. So this fourth aliyah, the combined parshiyot, covers the last aliyah of the first parsha and the beginning of the first aliyah of the second. And I am going to chant it. I think, Josh, I'm going to use the Trope Trainer version that I have in front of me. It's just easier for me. But thank you for enlarging. I'll use that for the translation. Gili v'nei Yisrael havadim avadayim asher hotzeiti etam meretz Mitzrayim ani Adonai Elohechem lo ta'asu lachem elilim ufesalu matzeva lo takimu lachem e'even maskit lo titnu be'asechem להשתחוות עליה, כי אני אדוני אלוהיכם. את שבתותיי תשמורו, ומקדשי תיראו, אני אדוני. אם בחוקותיי תלכו, sorry, I'm messing it up.
You're right.
אם בחוקותיי תלכו, ואת מצוותיי תשמרו, ועשיתם אותם, ונתתי גשמיכם בעיתם, ונתנה הארץ יבולה, ועץ השדה ייתן פריו. והשיג לכם דיש את בציר, ובציר ישיג את זרע, ואכלתם לחמכם לשובע, וישבתם לבטח בארצכם. ונתתי שלום בארץ, ושכבתם ואין מחריד, והשבעתי חיה רעה מן הארץ, וחרב לא תעבור בארצכם. ורדפתם את אויביכם, ונפלו לפניכם לחרב, ורדפו מכם 500, ומאה מכם רבבה ירדפו, ונפלו אויביכם לפניכם לחרב. ופניתי אליכם, והפריתי אתכם, והרביתי אתכם, והקימותי את בריתי איתכם. חזק חזק ונתחזק.
חזק חזק ונתחזק.
I may have to use your own translation there because we seem to be stuck on one verse. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
It's an important verse, but it's one verse.
Okay. For it is to me that the Israelites are servants. They are my servants, whom I freed from the land of Egypt. I, the eternal your God. You shall not make idols for yourselves, or set up for yourselves carved images or pillars, or place figured stones in your land to worship upon, for I, the eternal, am your God. You shall keep my Sabbaths and venerate my sanctuary, mine, the eternal's. Okay. If you follow my laws and faithfully observe my commandments, I will grant your rains in their season, so that the earth shall yield its produce, and the trees of the field their fruit. Your threshing shall overtake the vintage, and your vintage shall overtake the sowing. You shall eat your fill of bread and dwell securely in your land. I will grant peace in the land, and you shall lie down untroubled by anyone. I will give the land respite from vicious beasts, and no sword shall cross your land. You shall give chase to your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. 5 of you shall give chase to 100, and 100 of you shall give chase to 10,000. Your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. I will look with favor upon you, and make you fertile and multiply you, and I will maintain my covenant with you.
Thank you, Aya. Did you want to share anything else about the Torah portion?
Yes, I would like to. So God reminds us throughout that God freed us from Egyptian slavery so that nobody else could enslave us. We were slaves with hard labor in Egypt. We were avadim. Now we are free and must not be treated as slaves anymore. But paradoxically, at least I think it's paradoxical, we will become God's avadim. But the meaning of avadim has shifted, so now it's servants. The work that the Israelites will do is no longer avodah, meaning slave labor, but avodah, meaning work on the land, sacrifice, and worship. And we signed on to all of these at Sinai, whether we knew what we were doing at the time or not. The work is tied to the land, and we are reminded that the land belongs to God. We are only tenants on it and must treat it well by letting it lie fallow every 7th year so it can rest, and then working it so it will give us good produce. We'll succeed as long as we remember that God gave us this destiny, and this is how we're commanded to fulfill it. Today, in light of global climate change and the environmental movement, many of us have extended this idea to include stewardship of the land and the creatures on it, as God commanded Adam and Eve long ago in the garden. But we're learning once again that we can't control everything that nature and humankind throw at us, not even a tiny virus, no matter how virtuous we try to be, unless we use our brains, ingenuity, hard work, and empathy to mitigate these threats to us.
Thank you, Aya. Yeshakov on both the Torah and the interpretation. Yes, everybody. There we go. So it's time for Misha Berach, and please unmute yourself if you want to share a name for healing on this Shabbat. Just call them out.
Judy Shoemaker.
Gary Vallon.
Tamir Lilan ben Shanat Zipporah, David Shmuel ben Sariva, Yaakov ben Shalom, Shirley Spargel, Janet Engelhard Gutterman, Esther Devorah Bachayasima,
Bonnie Cook,
Way.
Saul Whiter,
George Gurneth and Kathy Lowry.
all those with the coronavirus.
Violet Marcus.
Oh.
Rita Seltman. Carol Adelsheimer. Sheila Siddig and Michael Siddig. May the source of strength, who bless the one before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Ishe berag imotenu lekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. So we're going to go back to Aya, who's going to lead the Haftarah. Please, even though you're muted, let's all sing the blessing together. Baruch. You lead it, Aya.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'Torah u'b'Moshe avdo u'b'Yisrael amo. So I understood from Eitz Chaim that because it's a double parsha, we should be reading the Haftarah for Bechukotai, which is not the one that you talked about before, Rabbi Gibson. Is that right? Because I'd be happy to read either one. Okay.
I just referred to it. You don't have to read it.
Okay. So as you can see, it's Jeremiah 17, 5-14. And I'm starting actually at oh, right, yes, you got it at the right place, Josh, and I forgot where that was. Sorry. Thus said the Eternal, cursed is he who trusts in man, who makes mere flesh his strength, and turns his thoughts from the Eternal. He shall be like a bush in the desert, which does not sense the coming of good. It is set in the scorched places of the wilderness, in a barren land without inhabitant. Blessed is he who trusts in the Eternal, whose trust is the Eternal alone. He shall be like a tree planted by waters, sending forth its roots by a stream. It does not sense the coming of heat. Its leaves are ever fresh. It has no care in a year of drought. It does not cease to yield fruit. Most devious is the heart. It is perverse. Who can fathom it? I, the Eternal, probe the heart, search the mind, to repay every man according to his ways, with the proper fruit of his deeds. Like a partridge hatching which he did not lay, so is one who amasses wealth by unjust means. In the middle of his life it will leave him, and in the end he will be proved a fool. O throne of glory, exalted from of old, our sacred shrine. O hope of Israel, O eternal, all who forsake you shall be put to shame. Those in the land who turn from you shall be doomed men and women, for they have forsaken the eternal, the fount of living waters. Heal me, eternal, and let me be healed. Save me and let me be saved, for you are my glory. Baruch atah. Whoops, yeah. Oh, really, lots of confusion today. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sur kol ha'olamim, tzadik b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'medaber u'mekayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nvi'im, ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך, ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Yesher koach, Aya. Thank you so much. Some things we want to share. Just two little notes about the Haftarah that Aya read. There are two verses for there that are specifically inserted into Jewish liturgy. The last line, Rifa'eni, is part of the daily Amidah, Rifa'enu, heal us and we should be healed, save us and we should be saved. And toward the beginning, she said, blessed is the one who trusts in God. That's actually toward the end of the Birkat HaMazon, Baruch HaGever Asher Tapa Adonai, the exact same verse. So you know that some of these verses seem to be in their own context, but our tradition takes them and puts them in our regular prayers as well. So a couple of announcements. We can gallery everybody, Josh, if you would, please. There we go. Hi. You still have bright, shining faces. So tonight, Watts is having a sing down starting at 7 o'clock. At 8:30, the rest of the congregation is invited to join their Havdalah at 8:30. The links were sent to you in the weekly email on Thursday. So the first part of the program, 7 to 8:30, is for Watts. At 8:30, we'll be doing a congregation-wide Havdalah. So we hope that you'll join in with that. Tomorrow, there's Hartman learning at 9:15 and the confirmation class at 10:30. Bereshit, the singing Torah, is also at 10:30 with Kenner Berman. I did a 1-minute video for an interfaith service. You'll see that in the weekly video as well. It's being broadcast by KDKA at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be done in the morning as well. Please look for the publicity on that. We are co-sponsors of this along with New Light Congregation and a whole host of other interfaith organizations. My regular Monday shiur, and I'm probably only teaching 4 more shiurim on Monday night from 7 to 8. It's Rabbi's Choice. I don't know, Toby and Flo are here. If you found it interesting, nod your head, say maybe it's worthwhile for people to join. And Eileen and other people have enjoyed it as well. So you can join me at 7 to 8 o'clock in the evening. The Parsha, we used to get 1 or 2 people because people would have to schlep to temple in the middle of the day, but you don't have to schlep to temple in the middle of the day. You can simply turn on your computer and get on the link at the Parsha for Wednesday at noon. I have my office hour. Paula Rulin was here. I don't know if she's still here. And we talk every week and she tells me what she's baking, which is fantastic. And that's at 10 o'clock on Thursdays. Intro to Judaism is 7 o'clock on Thursday. And so is the board meeting, which is the last board meeting before the annual meeting, which will be Tuesday, the 26th. Hopefully you'll be there It's really important that we come together even virtually. Cantor Berman's office hour is at 2 o'clock on Friday, and next week's Shabbat is May 22nd on Friday, 7 o'clock. It is the Shabbat of Memorial Day weekend. If there is anybody in your family or extended family who served and gave their life in service of our country to defend our country, please get me that name privately so I can add it to our Kaddish list so that we can honor those people appropriately on the Shabbat before Memorial Day weekend. So if there are any questions, you can always write me privately. It's wonderful to be with you. I, again, have heard your voices over all these years. And so even though I can't hear them through the screen, I hear them in our heart, my heart, every time we sing together. And just like my dear young friend, his hope of reaching Brezhnev and ending repression of Soviet Jewry was eventually fulfilled, our hope of enduring this and coming together will be fulfilled. I promise you that. So we're going on to Aleinu. And I'm going to turn it back over to Cantor Berman, and she's going to lead it all the way through Mourner's Kaddish as she herself is in mourning.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula leyotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kagoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, שלא שמו חלקנו כהם וגור עלינו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שכונות השמיים ויוצר הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס ורתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך. כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת. אין עוד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
If you have names to share after the reading by Laura of There Are Stars Up Above, please add them at that time after the reading, but before Kaddish.
Feel free to join. There are stars up above so far away, we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember.
My grandfathers, I, Joseph Gibson and Herbert Kestenbaum, who died May 17th, 1960 and 1975.
My grandmother, Pearl Rutkenreiner, who died when I was 2 years old.
My Aunt Doris Rudolph.
My Uncle Leonard Sulowski.
My father, Joseph Sheckman.
My grandmother, Hannah Rachel Roth Winkle.
Did we get Rebecca? Rebecca's father, Robert Rosenberg.
I don't know if she's still on.
My father, Seymour Smith.
Okay.
Laura?
And my mother, Evelyn Berman. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma divarachi rutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. ba'agala uvizman karib imru amen. Yehi shemei rabba mevarach le'olam le'almei almaya. Yiparach, v'yishtabach, v'yipa'ar, v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'ala v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Huya asa shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to all of us and to all Israel and indeed to all those who dwell on the earth, to which we say amen.
Amen. Josh, I think we know the Oseh Shalom. Why don't you put gallery view? And after, first of all, for Josh, yay, Josh. Whatever technical snafus, we could not do this without you. Thank you, Josh. Okay. Second, right after we sing Oseh Shalom, we're going to open up all of your mics, or open up your mics, so that we can have what we call oneg. And I'm saying that even though we've done it the last couple of weeks, because, you know, Tamar hasn't been here for that. And it's just kind of a happy way of having cacophony and reconnection at the same time. So here we go. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, Ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, Ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. V'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Say amen. Everybody unmute and say amen. Unmute. There we go.
Amen.
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 Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Paula, Shabbat shalom, Tamar. Welcome to our happy madness, Tamar and Paula.
Now I can have babka.
What?
I can have some babka.
Yes.
I wish I could bring it for all of you.
We could too.
Take that chance.
We wish you could too.
Yes. I first thought you said vodka.
No.
No,
No schnapps.